Hi guys, welcome back to Tech. Today we are going to learn JavaScript. First of all, what is JavaScript? JavaScript is a programming or a scripting language that allows the implementation of features on web pages. And there are some certain things you need to know before you start learning JavaScript. The first thing you are going to know first, you're going to first know how to use HTML and CSS. And what's HTML? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. And HTML elements are the building blocks of web pages. Then what's CSS? CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet. CSS is used for designing HTML elements. Then again, what's JavaScript? JavaScript, on the other hand, is what implements the features of web pages. So in this course, I'm going to teach you the basic and advanced concept of JavaScript. What do you need to do, or what do you need to know before using JavaScript? So you need to have like some computer literacy, basic understanding of HTML and CSS before you can dive into learning JavaScript. So let's go ahead and open our text editor. The text editor I'm going to use for this tutorial for lesson 1 is VS Code, which is Visual Studio Code. So I'm going to go ahead and open 3 files. If you don't have VS Code in your system, you can go to Google and download VS Code, then install it. So I'm going to save the first file, Ctrl S, and I'll save it as index. And the type should be HTML. Then we are going to save it on the desktop because I created a folder called lesson 1 JavaScript. Then we'll save it inside. Then number 2 file, we are going to save it as our CSS file. We are going to save it as style. Then the type should be CSS. See, then the 3rd file is our JavaScript file. We are going to save it as what? Script. Then the type should be JavaScript. Then save. So our file is now ready. So before we can go ahead with this tutorial, let's first of all type an exclamation sign, then press tab key to get your full HTML declaration. Then let's call here the type to lesson 1. Then bracket you can put JavaScript. So let's go ahead and link our CSS file and our JavaScript file. To link our CSS file, you type link rel, then inside here you type style sheet. Then outside of it, then you type the type. The type should be text/CSS. Then in front, then come here and type your hypertext ref, and the hypertext ref should be the name we used in saving our file, which is style.css. Then close it. Then let's go ahead and link our JavaScript file. To link our JavaScript file, you type the word here, script. Then inside the opening tag of our JavaScript tag, then you type src, which is the source, and the name you use in saving your JavaScript file, which is script.js. So we've succeeded in linking our CSS file and our JavaScript file in our HTML file. So let's go ahead and write some code. First of all, we are going to start with a program. This program we are going to start with is a program that when you click on it, it will change color. So let's go ahead and create a div. Then after creating the div, all we have to do now, we have to click this program. Then when we click on it, it's going to change color. Click to change color. Then at the opening tag of our div now, you are going to type on click. Then inside you type change color. Then in bracket say this, then close your bracket. Then let's add a style to it. Then our style to it should be, we take like a background color. The background color should be red. Then let's save, then minimize, then go straight to our folder, then our index file, then open it with Google Chrome. Well, as you can see, we've created something with HTML. So let's go ahead and use CSS to design it. So for us to do that, we go straight to our CSS file. Then first of all, we are going to target our div that we just created. Then you put a div here, then add your curly braces, enter. Then you take a margin first, say margin top, take margin top, and our margin top should be 50 pixels. Then we take margin left, margin left, and margin left should be 250 pixels. Then we take the height should be 200 pixels. Let's save and refresh our web page and see. Wow, as you can see, we've gotten something now. Let me expand the screen so that you can see very well. So let's go ahead and add more design to what you can see right now. So let's add the width, and our width should be 50%. Then let's add line height. Our line height should be 200 pixels. Then let's add color. Our color should be white. That is the text. As you can see here, the color of the text is black, but we are going to change it to white. Then let's add text alignment. Text alignment should be what center. We want the text to be right in the center here. So let's refresh and see. Wow, as you can see, we've created something. Let's go down and add padding to it. Padding, let's pad it right and left. Padding right to be 30 pixels. Then we take it padding left to be the same 30 pixels. Let's save and refresh. So whoa, we've created something now. So we've just included our HTML and CSS. Now let's dive into JavaScript and make this box you're seeing here change from red to any other color. Let's go ahead and do that. So to do so, you are going to type the word here, function. Then in front you say change color. Then in bracket you type element. Then add the curly braces in front. Remember, in our HTML file we create a on click say change color date. So we are going to state this change color. So we'll go back to our JavaScript, that function change color in bracket element. Then let's state a variable. Our variable is say current color is equals to element dot style dot background color. Then terminate with a semicolon. Then let's create something like if else statement, like if in bracket, then if current color is equals red in double quotation, then add your curly braces. You see element dot style dot background color is equals to in string yellow. Then terminate with a semicolon too. Then come here, then give a space, then type else, then add the curly braces to it, then enter. You type element dot style dot background color is equals to then red again, meaning that when we click the bus it will change from red to yellow, then back to red again. So let's save our code. code. We are done with our JavaScript file. Let's save and refresh our web page. So we are going to go ahead and click on this web page to see if it will change from red to yellow. So let's go ahead and click and see. Wow, as you can see, click it back again. Wow, as you can see, it has changed from red to yellow, then back to red again. This is how you can use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to design a program that can change color. Then what we are going to do now, we are done with our lesson 1. We'll dive into lesson 2 without wasting time. Let's dive into lesson 2. So for us to get into lesson 2, let's make this as a comment. As a comment. So I hope you're seeing what I'm doing. So now we've made this a comment, so it's not going to show in our browser when we're previewing our browser. Let's go ahead and make this CSS file to a comment too. Then we'll come here and let's close the comment here. Then let's go straight to our JavaScript file and make this function now a comment too. So let's do same thing here. Then let's come down here and close our comment. Wow, so we can now start with our lesson 2. So all we need to do here in our lesson 2, we just have to create something different from the first one. Remember, I told you that JavaScript is what implement the features of web pages. So our tip 2, or I'll call it our lesson 2, should be something different from lesson 1. So let's dive in and write some code for lesson 2. First of all, we are going to create a button. We're going to create a button. Then inside this button, it should be called, we should type the word here, button. Now, then let's name our opening button tag, like let's give it an ID and call it btn as the ID to it now. Then all we need to do here is very simple. So I will just add some script now. I don't want to go into JavaScript file or into CSS file. All we need to do, we can just come here in our HTML file and type the word here, script, then enter. So inside here, inside the script now, as you can see now, you can now add your JavaScript function into it now. So before we go ahead, let's go to the opening tag of our script and type the word type here. So the type here should be test slash JavaScript. Then inside our script tag now, we are going to type something like, before we go ahead and type, let's preview in our web pages first. Let's go straight to our folder, open our folder, our index file. Let's preview the button that we've just created first. Wow, as you can see, we've created a button here. And when you click the button, nothing happened. But this time we are going to add some JavaScript function that when you click this button now, you are going to get an alert message. So let's go ahead and add function to this button, as you can see here. So you are going to type document.get element by an ID, then in bracket now, in quotation, type btn. Now add on click to it. You see on dot on click on click is equals to, let me maximize so that you can see where is equals to function, then add the open bracket, close bracket, then add a curly braces in front, then type the word alert, then in front of it open bracket, close bracket, then double quotation sign, just say, let's say something like I am a button. So when you click on the button, you see the alert sign, the message that I am a button. Let's save and let's go back to our web page and refresh and see. So let's click on our button. Wow, as you can see, this page says I am a button. You can click OK. This is how you can add an alert or a message alert with JavaScript. Give you a message alert like I am a button, and you can see that in lesson 2. So let's make here a comment, so that we can practice lesson 3. So I will change it to lesson 3, then I'll go to our JavaScript file, then I'll convert everything here to comment, and it's already converted to comment. So let's go back to our HTML file, then let's start with our lesson 3. So in our lesson 3 here, JavaScript can do a lot of things. So what can JavaScript do now? So JavaScript can change the content of HTML elements, that is hypertext markup language elements. So let's go ahead and change HTML element with JavaScript. So let's dive in and write some codes. So we are going to write a code like, let's first of all include a p tag, a paragraph now, and inside the paragraph now we'll say hello world, hello world. So now let's add an ID to the opening p tag, paragraph tag, and let's call this ID like demo. So what we have to do here is easy. Then we have to create a button that will change this paragraph, like this word hello world. Now let's go ahead and create a button under it now. So we are going to type button, then inside of our button, then we're going to type change value inside of the button. Then at the opening tag of the button now, we are going to add a type to it, and the type should be what? Button. Then continue, you say on click, then my function, let's leave it like func, then add a open bracket, close bracket to it, then save it. So let's see what we can do with our CSS file to our button now. If you want to add some style to your button, you can add like with CSS. Let's dive in and see what we can do now. Let's first of all go to our folder and preview our index page with Google Chrome. So as you can see here, we've succeeded in creating a button and hello world. So let me go back to VS Code and split my screen so that you can see well. Let me expand a bit so that you can see well. So as you can see, here is the code now in HTML. So let's go to CSS and add something to it, or without wasting time, we can just jump into our JavaScript file and make our JavaScript change the function. So I will just go to my CSS file. Let me just add something to it. Let me just type button. Let me just target the button, add your curly braces in front, just add like background color to your button. Let's give the background color as red to our button. Let's just save our button and refresh. As you can see, our button is red. So let's target our p tag. You can come here and target our p tag, say p tag, a paragraph tag, enter, then say color. Let's change the color. Let's change the color to, let me just change the color to, let me change it to like green, change it to change it to green. Let's see, let's refresh and see it's green. So let's add the font size, like font size to it. Font size, let's say the font size should be, just say 30 pixel font size. Then let's add font weight to it. Font weight, the font weight should be bold. Let's just save and refresh. Wow, as you can see, here's the button. So let's add a function in JavaScript that can change this text. So let's dive into JavaScript and add some function to it. Wow, I believe that today your story will change concerning JavaScript. If you follow me up in this tutorial, gradually you see that JavaScript is not that difficult as you think. So let's go ahead and write a function that can change our HTML text. So you type the word first, function. After function, remember that when you go to our HTML file, we use something like my function. So you are going to state this my function here. As you can see, my function, you are going to state it. Let's copy it. You can copy it. So let's go back to our JavaScript file. So then you can just paste it in front. Then just add your curly braces, then enter. So let's go ahead and make this text change with JavaScript. You say document dot get element by an ID. Then in brackets, we are going to state the word, the ID, which is demo. Remember, in our HTML file, you see this is the word, hello word we want to change, and the ID is demo. So you go back to your JavaScript file and include it here. So you now put dot in front, then inner HTML, then equals to, then in double quotation, let's change this hello world to hello universe, like hello universe. Then let's add exclamation in front of it now. Then in front of it now, we are going to terminate this statement here with a semicolon. Then let's save, and let's go back to our page and refresh. So now when we click this value, this button now that says change value, it will change from hello world to hello universe. Try and see. Wow, as you can see, it has changed from hello world to hello universe. Try and see again. It will not change because it has changed before. So let's refresh this back. It will come back to hello world. Then let's change value, hello universe. Thank you for watching lesson 3. We've come to the end of lesson 3. I hope you enjoyed this video on how to use JavaScript. If you do, please don't forget to like, share my videos, subscribe and comment. Please share my video. We'll meet in the next lesson.